Chodesh Tov, everybody, and happy Monday. We're going to give a minute or two for the people to be here. I like to start on time, so we're a minute. Maybe some people mistaken for the time. They didn't change it on their watch or something like that. So we give you a chance to go online, and then we can start. We have less 2 weeks than Passover is here. So I'm going to try to speak a little bit about Passover, but not too deep. Just the basic. Those of you who want to hear more deeper explanation about Passover should look for 2 years ago. I think I did a lecture in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Or 19, I'm sorry, 2019. Definitely something that can be find very useful. And can really help everybody before Passover. Good, people are ready, I can start?
Yeah.
All right, I get okay to start. So the name of the portion, we're starting in third book of Moses. We know there is 5 books to Moses. Well, the third one is called Vayikra. Vayikra has a 10 parshiot, there's 10 sections in Vayikra. Every book has a certain amount of portion and a certain amount of precept that you can get from it. The amount of precept from Parashat Vayikra, from book of Vayikra, is the most amount of mitzvot from all the other 5 books. Now, if you go corresponding the books into Sfirot, so the first book is Keter, which is Bereshit. Second book is Shemot, which is Chokhmah and Exodus. And the third book is basically Vayikra, which is Binah. So we're getting into the level of Binah. That's what we're getting, and we're starting the Parsha. Now, the most of the section of Vayikra talk about sacrifice, korbanot. Now, when you take the word korbanot, what you do, you sacrifice animal. Seem a bit primitive, maybe, action, and doesn't matter how you look at it, in the end will look primitive. What's the idea of that animal that's been sacrificed? So think about every time that we're doing something wrong. We know a human being is built from 4 aspects of structure. The minerals, vegetables, animals, and human. When a human starts acting in a super selfish way, act like animal, what does the animal want? Multiply through sexuality, eating food. So if a person can think only about sex and food, that means that that person is more an animal. So what do? You sacrifice an animal. What does the animal represent? The animal represents an expression of my selfish behavior. Okay? So I have a selfish behavior, I call it an animal, I sacrifice it. So if you look at the portion this way, it will help you to understand, we're not just talking about sacrifice in a primitive way, we're talking about a war that we are in. We have a war against our evil side, our animal side, the side that refused to change, the side that refused to transform, the side that don't want to grow up. That side has to be sacrificed. That's deeply and seriously what we're talking about. Now, when you take the word korban, korban means sacrifice. It's come from the word krav nun, fight with the letter nun. Nun stand up for falling. Krav means a war, a fight. Or it means litkarev lenun, to get closer to nun, and nun in that type of explanation means binah. And we know this is the whole idea of binah, the entire book. So when a person commits a crime, or we are doing something wrong, why are we doing something wrong? Did you ever ask yourself, like, why would a person wake up in the morning and do something wrong? What's the reason for a person to think about how to do the wrong thing? Obviously, there is pleasure in it. There is pleasure. You wouldn't do something wrong if it wouldn't be covered with the pleasure. Why there is pleasure in it, right? I mean, why Why the negative side gives us a pleasure that then we want to do it again and again and again. We can't stop. We just want to do it again and again and again. We become addicted to what we're doing. We become addicted to a certain crime. And the simple explanation is because we all look for the light. We all look for energy. Whatever, to happiness, to joy. We look for fulfillment. Now the fulfillment can come to a shortcut, what we call a sin or a crime, or the fulfillment can come through hard work, by earning everything. To work hard, to earn everything, seem like taking too long. And when something takes too long, you don't want to wait because you don't feel that the waiting will give you a different rewarding than what you're going to get while you're committing a crime. And for that reason, the sacrifice, what does the sacrifice do? Is cancellation, krav, fighting of my falling part. What is considered my falling part? The part that want something now immediate without waiting. That's not my strong part. If I'm not capable of being patient with my success, then I don't believe success is coming. And if I don't believe success is coming, then I become silly and stupid. And then I will do my mistake. Conclusion, you gotta sacrifice not what you did wrong. You sacrifice the force that caused you to do the wrong thing. Now, some of us will say, what force? This is just me. I'm choosing good or bad, and you happen to be right. But what if I tell you, you're not exactly alone with your choices? There is a force that's affecting you since you were born. And you are in a war all day long. So for that reason, I got to take you to the Zohar of this week portion. And verse 316. And that's what the Zohar said. Come and behold. From that deep hole, a female came out, which is the spirit of all spirit. And her name is Lilite. And I hope I said right. You can write it differently. Lilith. Lith, Debbie said. All right. That's her name. We can call her Lilo if you want. So we don't have to say the whole name. I'm not saying her name, okay? And she was with Adam first. What are we going to do with this piece of information? All the women panic now. שהייתה נוקבה שלו. She was his nukva. Nukva means female. שעה שנברא Adam. So, that means before Adam come to an expression of creation, she was his partner. But when he was created and his body was complete, it was 1,000 spirits that want to be his soulmate, and everyone want to get in. ולא היו יכולים. They couldn't. Until Adam, as the Zohar described, was green. Now, it doesn't mean really it was green. Green means center color of Zerampin. I cannot go into it. And all the spirit around him. And then a cloud came down. I'm in verse 317. And for that point, Elohim said, let the livelihood soul come out from the land, which was his nukva, which is malchut. Okay? From the nefesh האיש של אדם הראשון, via malchut, הוא צריך את האור לנשב אותו באדם. So God put spirit inside the body he created to make the body alive. And he was created the body for male and female together. And when Adam stood up, after he got the livelihood, the nukva, his female, was in his side. So the wife of Adam, meaning Eve, was aside. Don't panic. I mean, there's many midrashim about how she looked like. She didn't look like human being. She was another piece to his body, aside. And the soul was going to him, to the male part, and for the female part, and it was perfect. Then what God did, he separated that piece and Adam and created from that piece Eve, from that piece Adam. And it was a wedding like a chuppah. God brought them like a chuppah together. When Lilo saw it, not Lilo, I mean Lilith or whatever you say, write it, Barcha, ran away. I don't need to tell women about jealousy or from women. When two women see each other in the wedding, same dress, you fight. 2 men, 3 men, 1,000 men, all dressed like penguin, nobody cares. They just care if there is enough hot dog left for them. That's it. We build differently. It doesn't mean you're worse or we are better. Just build differently. Where did she run away to? Everybody was scared now. Bekarche Hayam. She's in a myth of the oceans. She's everywhere in the ocean. That's one of the reasons people should not go to the ocean at night, especially not alone. If you're a man, it's even worse. Don't go to the ocean or swim at night. Or if you decide to do it, go 10 men together. 10 men together. Otherwise, don't go. ועד עתה היא מוכנה להזיק לבני העולם. And her job is to bother human being. Why? Because we are the children of her competition, Eve. But when the time come, it say here in verse 319, when God will destroy Rome, I don't know if it's the Rome is Italy or Rome is a different Rome, then she will rise from the ocean and God will take her to be there in Rome. Why Rome? Because that's a place will be the place of destruction. And she will find safety there. Meaning wherever there is destruction, she finds it. Where does her name come from? Because she's always complain. Meyalelet. She's always complain like a cat. Meow, meow. That's called Yelala. Not enough now. Zohar in verse 320. And the books of the first wise Kabbalists say that El, Lilo, Barcha min Adam. It's a different opinion. He didn't leave her for Eve. She ran away from him. Before even Chava was in the picture. But we didn't find it's true. Because all what we know, she was with him in the beginning. But until Eve didn't come, she was with him. שזו חווה נתקנה עמו, היא ברחה לים, ועתידה להזיק לעולם. She ran away to the ocean, and she wanted to damage people. What do? How do you stay away from that negativity? And when she want to hurt you? רפואה לזה, I'm reading 321, that hell will not damage you. When a man make love to his wife, for the sake of having children only, not make love to his wife for no children, כדי להוליד. יכוון ליבו בקדושה של אדונו. He has to meditate, to be with his creator, and he has to say this verse in 321. He has to say it before he have children. And he say like this, you are the one who cover with fabric, with sheet of, I think sheet is the best sardine, right? And you always complain, Imalti, go away, run away from me. You cannot come in and you cannot get out. This is not yours and not your portion. Go back to the wild ocean. The wave is calling you. I am holding to the holy part. I'm holding to the king part. And that's why I'm surrounding myself with a fabric or with the sheet or with the blanket. Okay? And then he covered his wife's head and his head. Okay? And he has to do it for the time of having children. Because what happened? She get jealous from the woman. The woman that make love to you come from Chava, from Eve. That's a competition. She wanted to disturb that there will be no continuation for the generation of Chava. And you are from the generation of Chava. You marry a woman, you want to have children, she has to disturb it. Most people don't know it. And if they don't know it, it's not going to happen. And the king of the demon teach King Solomon. The reason I'm reading it to you, not to scare you, it's happened to be in Vayikra. And I have to tell you, we're not alone here. We are in the middle of a war. I mean, people think that you can just, no big deal, everything's not a big deal, just be positive, positive. You can be as positive as you want. You're still in a war. Okay? So the king of the demon, teach King Solomon, say, it take 30 days. And the king of the demon says something very weird. He said, listen, King Solomon, after the sexual act of making love for the sake of children only, ishpoch mayim tzlulim, to pour water around the bed. And then she can never even dare to get close to your children or anything like that. Unbelievable, right? Yeah. Also, a woman who breastfeeds her child should not make love to her husband while the child is asleep. And then she cannot feed him at least 1 hour after that, if she make love to her husband, because then part of that intercourse is passing on to the kids. And if she doesn't do it, okay, the kids will never be afraid of that hell if the mother doing it. So it's a very, very powerful. If you look at it, I read to you a short section from the Zohar that happened to be in Vayikra. So what are we fighting with? I mean, it seemed like if I may say it, I don't want to depress you, it seemed like the fight is not fair. It seemed like, who are you or me to even think that we can do anything about that force that exists before even me and you even come to existence? I'm talking about the force that was there before Adam. I'm talking about the king of the demon teach King Solomon what's going on. But you and me are not King Solomon. What's going to happen with us? Well, we have to follow what the Zohar is telling us. That's the right thing to follow. But still, we are in a war. So what do you do? I mean, what do you do in that war? Well, we understand about sexual relationship. We understand the verse you have to read before. We understand that the war is going to keep going till the Messiah will come, or maybe even after. So we are dealing with kind of a war between two forces, and we have to be strong enough to maintain our spirituality. Now, the portion starts with the concept of Vayikra, and God called Moses. But if you look at Vayikra, there is a small aleph. Small aleph. Small aleph is the small letter of the first Hebrew letters of the alphabet. Now, what does that mean, small aleph? Meaning that Moses, one of the commentaries explained, was capable to lower himself. To lower himself. And that's why God called him. What is the connection to what I just said before about our evil side, our animal side? You can't win when you have an ego trip. Even if you win, when you have an ego trip, you lose. Even if you win, you lose. Why? Because when a person has an ego trip, what is the ego trip? I think I'm right. I think I know better. I think you're stupid and I'm smart. All kind of method that people with ego live by. There is no room for the light force of the Creator. Where do we learn it from? There's a section in the Talmud that talk about which people God cannot be with. And it's written that God can be with all people. But there is one type only, that God said, I cannot be with this type of people. And the verse they use in Hebrew, En hani v'hu yecholim ladur b'dira achat. Me and the person with the ego cannot live in the same apartment. That's the code in the Talmud about ego. We need to understand why is ego such a bad thing. So the way they explain it in the book, they bring a story, they share a story. It was one great teacher, guru, Kabbalist, mentor, whatever you want to call it, that arrived to a town. And of course, when a rabbi in that level arrived to town, everybody is chasing the wife or the rabbi, please stay with us. Because I don't need to tell you, when somebody who knows real spirituality, real Kabbalah, really coaching, when they stay in your place, the whole place is elevated to the next level. I have a friend in Haifa, that his name is Philippe, God bless him, I don't know if he listened to it. So I know him for 28 years. And when we arrived, he heard we going to Haifa. And we have a place to stay, so he was chasing my wife. He said, please don't let Eliyahu stay nowhere else. We have our house. I said to my wife, I cannot stay in somebody's house. This is his house. And he told my wife, please let me do this service. I need Eliyahu to stay in my place. I really need him for my money to go up. He has an agenda, which is not a problem. And I said, well, if he needs something for me, then I will stay, because that means I feel good because I can help him with something. And what we did, we stay in his place. Oh, he make us feel like queen and king. You couldn't believe how far he went out of his way to give us. I'm not talking about the person who has a lot. He doesn't have nothing. And he gives the nothing that he doesn't have. Out of his way. Thank God now he's doing really well. I'm very happy for him. He was struggling then, and it really worked. I'm glad it really worked. Would I say it's because of me? I don't know. I think it's because of God. I happen to be there and I pray for him. If it worked, Baruch Hashem. What am I trying to say about that story? So the two rabbis arrived. One rabbi arrived. They tell him, listen, there is two rich people. This rich guy, he can host you in his house. He has the best house. In the house, there is a bookshelf with all the books. Everything is there. The guy is a scholar, he's a study. He makes a lot of money. He has a pool, and he has a mikveh next to the pool. You can even dunk yourself in the mikveh to purify yourself before the Torah. Everything is perfect in this house. The food is extremely kosher. There is a sushi chef. There is this chef. They have everything in the house for you, Rabbi. And everybody said, I think you should stay there. Say, okay. What about the other guy? So the other guy is not as learned as this guy. He's rich, very rich, and he knows that he's not knowing as much as the other guy, so he's super humble. He's humble because he realizes he's not as clever as the other guy in the Torah. He's not as clever as the other guy spiritually. So his level, he lowers level, but listen, he's a nice guy, very nice to people, which the other guy is very respectful in the community because he's not just rich, he's almost like a rabbi. He's like a rabbi and rich. So the Kabbalists look, so you know what, I will stay with a simple guy. So you stay with a simple guy. This guy give you a pool and a mikveh and chef. I say, yeah. But the other guy know that he doesn't know. And the first guy know that he know. And it's written in the Talmud, he tells them that God doesn't stay with people who think they know. He stay away from those people. If God stay away from those type of people, I don't want to be there. And that's what he answered. And of course, after that, a lot of change happened. That other guy start changing, work on himself. Because the ego, my friend, doesn't give room for the light of the Creator to shine. That's why Moses was so important human being, the most important human being ever come to this world. And Moses live among us every generation. We just have to find him. Because it's not appear to be a leader, you appear to be nobody. You know? But lucky are the people who meet Moses in this lifetime. Very lucky. Very lucky. Now, I'm going to go now, and we have still to answer, what do we do? What do we do? What is going on with the idea of this evil side inside of us? And hopefully we'll have some time to talk about Passover and Rosh Chodesh, but first I have to explain that. All right. It's like this. I'm reading from Zera Kodesh. I can tell you that this is one of my favorite commentary on everything that he said. So I will be excited to read the whole thing. It will take me 3 hours. I don't want to do that to you. But I just can tell you that his name is the Rovshitze. Zera Kodesh Rabbi Naftali Berovshitz. Like the Agadah used for Pesach, it's only for Rovshitze. Has all the secret in them. It's tremendous Agadah. God bless the people who put it together. All right. So, the question that the Rovshitze asked, I will have to read words by words and translate it to you. God created everything. So, God created everything. What did God create? So it says, God created good and bad, punishment and reward. Why did God have to create the evil side? I'm sure if David is online, he asks himself the same question. Why God have to create the evil side? And we live just good. We all barbecue, sheshbesh, backgammon, some chess. Why? Bara Yetzer Hara. God created the Yetzer Hara. God created the evil inclination. והסמך א', and the dark lord of the evil inclination. והם זה לעומת זה של צד הקדושה. הוא בחר לעצמו יצר הרע מסית הנ"ל. And he took the יצר הרע, he took the evil inclination, that making us do wrong thing, and he gave him the letter Samech Mem. That is Sam, like you say Sam in English. Samech, the round, and Mem. That's the two letters he gave the dark lord. שם לעומת הקדושה. כי מילוי של סמך מם, גם כן גיאטריה סמך מם. אומרים התפשטות הטומאה חס ושלום באותיות סמך אין למילוי. So all the impurity coming from that forces. והנה יצא לאדם שינצל מיצר הרע. What's the advice? Ask the Rovshitze, רבי נפתלי מרובשיץ, what's the advice to be saved from the evil side? על ידי שיראה האדם בכל עת לחזק עצמו ביראתו, יתברך שמו ויראת מאלוקיך. The only way is when a person have יראה. But the word יראה can be translated so many ways. יראה, לראות, to see. יראה, to fear. יראה, יראת הרוממות, respect. And awe you have for somebody. יראה can be translated so many ways. והנה עניין היראה הוא בבית עניינים. Tell us the Rovshitze, יראה can go to two levels. יראה אחת בחמת העונש. One יראה is when you're afraid of punishment. כי ידוע שמלך במשפט יעמיד הארץ, וירא לעבור פיו, יברך לו לשמור על היצר הרע, חס ושלום בחמת יראה ממנו, בחמת העונש. A lot of people start to have fear that they get punished. Maybe they get sick, maybe they lose the money, maybe the things will not work as good as it was before. That type of יראה, that type of fear, it's called יראת העונש. And that יראה has a name, and the code name for that יראה is called Adonai. Adonai. Why we call it Adonai? Because Hu Adon Kol Haaretz. You realize that God is the master of everything, but the fear that you have is because you're afraid to get punished. But there is another יראה, much deeper, much internal. The other יראה was external, because you worry about the punishment. מזאת היראה, והוא על ידי שאדם משיג רוממות אלוקותו יתברך בכל העולמות. Is when a person achieve a respect and understanding and awareness about the creator that ruled the whole universe, ושאין קץ ושיעור לגדולתו, and the person start to realize that the creator is actually endless, ומידותיו הקדושים ושאין שיעור טובתו ורחמנו לכל מעשיו, והאדם הזה משיג שפלות האדם שאפילו לא יכול עולמות, אין שיעור לשפלותו. And when you realize how small you are, and how great is the creator, and Moses achieved that level completely. Moses achieved that level. So when you get to that level, this יראה is a different level. Tell us the Rovshitze, רבי נפתלי ברובשיץ, וזאת היראה ממשיך האדם על עצמו משם הוויה במילוי אלפין. I hope you will understand that part. If you don't know, you can skip on that. The way you draw that type of יראה, you draw from a name that called יראה י' כו' כבמה, which is י' ו' ד' A Aleph, Vav Aleph Vav, A Aleph. Maybe Debbie our team can put it later so they see the name. So we have two type of יראה. One יראה is coming from fear. It's ruled by the name Adonai. The other יראה, which is also fear, but fear from respect, from an awe, coming from י' כו' כ, coming from Tetragrammaton with the fulfillment of Aleph, which is called מילוי מה. ולכן, and that's why, when you talk about human being, what do we call us? Adam. Adam in Hebrew means human being. But Adam is dam, mean blood, plus the letter Aleph that come from the Yud Kevav Kema. And Adam is 45, which is the same fulfillment as the Milui Ma. I hope Debbie will put a picture for you so you can really get excited from that. All right. והנה, אלו הבית שמות שבשם, בית ענייני עירה. So these two names, okay, עירה הנ"ל, הם שם אדוני ושם מה. If you take the name Adonai, okay, which is 65, and you add the 45, what do we get? 110, which is Gematria Nes. You get 110, which is numerically value, miracle. ועל ידי זה מתבטלים כוח היצר הרע. Then you can cancel all negativity to leave you alone. So you have fear of being punished, or an awe for how great is the Creator. ויש לנו עמידה נגדם, שלא יוכלו לבטלנו מאהבתו יתברך. So you have to use both of them. Depends when. Sometimes you went so low that only punishment can change you. Sometimes you are not that low, you're already spiritual, but you don't develop yet the respect and the awe toward the Creator, and that's why you need the name of the 45. So, what happened? When the Creator want to help you, רוצים לעכב אותו בעבודתו יתברך. So they don't let the person doing the spiritual work. שלזה ברא יתברך שמו היצר הרע. So God created the evil inclination to prevent you from doing what's right. שיגדל יותר התענוג שלו יתברך בעם קרובו. So like this, the Creator will have more pleasure from you when you win. וכשיהיה שכר ועונש, and then God truly can give you reward or punishment, because now you're earning it. You're earning it on your own. וזהו צד אחיזת הסמך א' בקדושה. וחיות שנמשך להם מהקדושה. So the dark side, only way to nourish is nourishing from the light. Without the light, without light from us, you will not be able to exist. And when you mix the 45 and 65, which is Adonai and Yud Kevav Alpin, which is Nes, יש לנו כוח שלא לשמוע אליו. Only then you are capable not to listen to the evil inclination. Because we're all going to be attacked by evil inclination. If somebody tells you he's not been attacked by the evil inclination, then he's dead. Or she's dead. Something is wrong with them. Everybody's attacked. Sometimes we fall, sometimes we make it. We're not going to make it every time. Just get used to it. You're going to get, one day you're going to slap, one day you wake up. One day you slap, one day you wake up. As the Breslev Rebbe said, sometimes we fall so we can pick up what we lost in the first place. So now, every time that the evil inclination kind of taking you and twisting your brain out to do wrong thing, it's good for you. Why? Because you are in a war. We are always in a war, guys. The war is not over. It's every day. Every day. Every second. בכוח זה עמדו מם סמך וסמך מלוכות, זה צד אחיזתם וחייתם בקדושה. והנה זאת עבודתו של האדם בעולם הזה. That's the work of a human being in this world. שלא ייתן המקום לסמך עליו להתפשט, רע יהיה התפשטות קדושה. So the job of a human being is to do good, but also prevent bad from spreading into the good. כי היצר רע וסמך א' מפתים את האדם לתאוות מותרות. Because the dark side want the person to be okay with his lust, okay with everything that he wanted to do. So the dark side can go into the good area of your life. וצריך האדם להכניע כוחם לידי ביטול התאוות. The way that the human being fight with them is controlling your lust, L-U-S-T. And that's the korban. That's the sacrifice that we talk about in Vayikra. What is the sacrifice? You're giving sacrifice, but you also sacrifice yourself. And that's the throwing of the blood that used to be. Because when a person have lust, when a person want to do the wrong thing, what happened? Your blood start to boil. Your blood start to boil from the passion of doing it. And that's how the dark side are controlling you. And for that reason, our name in Hebrew is Adam, human. שצריך אות א' לאדם. Because if you just call us דם, we are blood. But if you add the letter Aleph, that's אלופו של עולם. The letter Aleph is the creator of the world that control everything. שלא ילך אחרי התאוות של תגבורות ורתח הדם. Don't follow that excitement of the blood being boiled. שיכיר את כבוד אלופו של עולם ואחדותו. אנחנו אומרים אז באות א'. And that's the work that we are doing here. As you can see, we are in a war, guys. It's just a war all day long. And he continue. So when you do the sacrifice, you are cancellation of everything that you used to follow before. Now, according to Rabbi Naftali Mirovshitz, why there is Aleph in Vayikra? Aleph Zira Vayikra, Torat Kohanim, and it's all about sacrifice, because it's telling you, I'm here to sacrifice all the korbanot, all the sacrifice in the Mishkan for all the people that were chasing the blood instead of the Aleph. A human being has two parts. The Aleph is the part of the Creator in you, and the Dam, the blood in us. So the Aleph is small, is to remind you that you are making the Aleph, which is the Creator, which is the light of force of God, and you make the Dam more important. That the Aleph from Vayikra is the same Aleph that's supposed to be big, because that's where the Creator is. So, after the golden calf, after all the things we did wrong, it's a problem. And for that reason, they say, Adam ki yakriv michem korban Lashem, a human being who sacrifices among you, sacrifice to God. What is became? What is became? Okay? If you take the word Samech Mem, remember, Samech, you write it letter, Samech Mem Kaf, and Mem you write Mem and Mem. I'm sorry for all the non-Hebrew speaker. So if you look at the end of the letter, you have Mem Kaf, and the last letter of Mem is Mem. What is it? Mikem, among you. When somebody sacrifice something from you, what is that meant from you? שהמילון מורה על התפשטות מורה על התפשטות הסטרא אחרא. It shows you that within the word mikem, among you, meaning you let the dark side go among you, that's in you have to cure it by the sacrifice. על ידי שהלך אחר תאוות ומותרות. ואתה רוצה לבטל כוחם. Now you want to cancel them. What do? Sacrifice mikem. Mikem. Meaning you take the letter mikem, which is the spreading out of Samech Aleph. I think it's phenomenal. I don't know if everybody understands that, but they need to see the letter. Unfortunately, I can't show you the letter. I don't have that digital immediate drawer. Monday maybe we can solve it because we really need it. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. So, yeah. So this is the whole thing of Vayikra, and to understand we are in a war. And every time that you want to read something, just don't stop reading about Rabbi Naftali Mirovshitz. And I believe that he has a lot to do with the Messiah coming and all the bad things that will be over. And I believe that he carry within them a spirit, a soul that can make all different.